Welcome to Inside Sim Racing. I'm John Sable alongside Darin and John, and today we are reviewing the Ricmotech short shifter kit for the Thrustmaster TH8RS and TH8A shifters.
So the adapter goes for $39.95 at ricmotech.com. Also, quick disclaimer, this could void your warranty.
Yes.
I'm not sure how it really could.
Consider you can take it off and put it...
Yeah. We didn't say that, Thrustmaster. Anyway, but it says in the instructions here that installation of this adapter may void original manufacturer's warranty. So just a heads up on that. But yeah, $39.95, and it basically shortens the throws of all 8 gates.
Exactly, and it actually, according to Ricmotech, shortens the forward and back throws by 35%, and the side-to-side throws by 20%.
Yeah, see,
We're not quite sure how that is.
I don't know if 20% is knocked off there, but that's what the it says on the website, right?
Yes.
So, comes with the plastic adapter, 4 screws. Also comes with a piece of shrink wrap, which ours has gotten a little chewed up, and we'll show a shot of it. And I think John installed it a little short, but the instructions said do not place over the threads, which would have made me assume to just put it above the threads.
Yeah, when I installed it, I pretty much followed the picture on the instructions that shows you installing it essentially over most of the original plastic piece that's on the original shifter. And so I did that, and it turns out I didn't have that heat shrink up high enough. And the whole point of the heat shrink is so when you're going through the gates, you're not getting metal on metal clang. So,
which now we're getting a little bit.
Which now we're getting a little bit of that. So for future reference, if you purchase this and place that heat shrink on, cover more of the metal part and maybe only put a quarter of the heat shrink sleeve over top the plastic.
Yeah, so just take into account that this plastic piece is going to move everything up about, I don't know, that's about an inch.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit more. And that you want that shrink tubing to be right where the metal's going to be hitting. Now, you saw some reviews on Ricmotech's site that said that shrink tubing was getting chewed up and that they kept having to cover it with tape. I was thinking cover it with just a piece of black electrical tape.
Yeah, I would think electrical tape would work pretty well, actually, myself. But yeah, and I do think over time, we chewed it up a little bit at the top, mostly because it was installed a little too low. But I do think over time it could potentially, get chewed up a little bit.
So besides that, on the installation, there was a pin or something to line up. How did that all work as far as the placement?
Yeah, there's a hole in the Thrustmaster shifter, and Ricmotech has a pin inside the adapter, and pretty much you hit that mark, and that locks you in where the adapter goes. And then you're just putting the 4 bolts in, and off you go.
So let's talk performance. I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it works. I mean, there's very little.
It shortens the throw.
There's very little to say. It shortens the throw, and I mean, the shifter has always had kind of a longer throw.
Yeah.
It's kind of felt
kind
almost
of like an old school.
It's an old school transmission. Yeah, really rowing. This one shortens it to, I think, the perfect amount.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, because we test drove the Lotus 79 in iRacing, and I think that was a full gated shifter.
Yep.
That wasn't sequential back then. And it felt good with that car, where the old one was, I think, this is like, this gate's like old school Ferrari,
yeah.
It seems to me. And it's just a little, or even old school like Ford Cobra without all the gears. I think a Ford Cobra was only like a 4-speed with reverse. But anyway, so yeah, it was a little long before, and this, I think, makes it perfect. For just about any car. I mean, I'd prefer it longer because it's going to quicken your shifts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I wasn't missing any shifts. It felt really good.
Yeah, and even just for fun, I ran it without the stock Thrustmaster plate, which Ricmotech does advise to put it back on. But I ran it without the plate, and the bolts still were able to snug down onto the adapter. And I was actually able to run it halfway decent, but it certainly is easier to not miss shifts with the gate on.
Yeah, just looking down in there, I could see you don't have much of a gate at all. It's just basically some like indentations.
Yes.
Cool, so why don't we get some pros and cons. First pro, we just pretty much mentioned it, works great. And the next pro is the adapter seems really durable and looks good.
On to the cons, and the first con is we think it's a little pricey at $39.95. Final con we kind of talked about earlier is just this heat shrink, and kind of a combo of instructions. Would have liked that to be a little more clear. All the other instructions I think are pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Especially in the sim racing universe when instructions tend to be lacking for the most part.
I think a better way to have described the instructions would have been to measure down from the ball, you know, from the handle, or the knob, shift knob, measure down, say 2 inches, and then put the shrink tubing there.
Yes.
You know, versus just don't cover up the threads. I don't think that was clear enough, because you didn't cover up the threads.
No.
You put it above that, and it still just wasn't long enough. So, or a longer piece of shrink tubing.
A longer piece would have been nice as well.
So, final thoughts?
Final thoughts, it's a great little update. I mean,
Yeah.
I kind of love a little simple mod like this. I liked it. I felt a lot better.
I agree. And like we said, the only con is it's a little pricey, so I would have liked to see the price a little bit lower, but it gets the job done, and it gets the job, you know, it gets it done great. So anyway, you can also check out Ricmotech if you're looking to buy a shifter like this. He sells them at his site and is an official Thrustmaster dealer. So again, go to ricmotech.com to check it out, and I think that's going to wrap it up.
It is.
For John Sable, I'm Darin Ganji. We'll see you guys next time.